Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about breakouts. All right, so let's get started on this topic. Make sure you're taking notes on this as well. Okay, breakouts is one of the most popular topics in Forex, and it is a very profitable strategy as well. So make sure to take note on this. So take notes. All right, now let's get started with our first point. All right, so a breakout is simply price breaking and closing below or above a support or resistance level, respectively, in a consolidation. Okay, a consolidation can be a number of candles moving sideways. Longer the consolidation period, bigger the breakout will be. Okay, so it all depends on the size of consolidation, the period of consolidation, okay, and where the price is breaking out of as well. Okay, now some breakouts are continuation and some breakouts are reversals as well. So we're going to talk about that very soon. Okay, so let's draw a small example over here. So let's say price was trending bullish, okay, making higher highs and higher lows until it reached a certain price point where it started consolidating. Okay, so this thing right over here is our consolidation. So we entered in some sort of a consolidation. Now, in this type of market structure, you cannot trade. Okay, when market is moving sideways, this is where the most losses get accumulated. So whenever price is ranging, whenever price is consolidating, do not approach a market until we get some sort of a breakout. Okay, so once, let's say we get a breakout, let's say this time to the downside. Once we have a breakout, just wait for some sort of a retest and a candle closing in your direction, and you can have a possible trade coming down. Okay, so it is really important for you as a trader to stay disciplined and wait for the breakout. Okay, either you can enter right when the price breaks and closes, or you can wait for a retest and then have a continuation coming down to retest the low and reach the next area of rejection, which will be your support level. All right, next point. After a breakout, check the candlestick traffic on the left to see what type of market structure is available. Okay, so let's say if you have clean candles coming down, all right, then there's a very high probability that once price comes back up again in this area on the right hand side, which is the present, price can go up clean as well. Why? Because previously in the past we have moved clean in here, so there's a very high probability that once price comes back into that certain range, we're going to go from point A to point B clean as possible. Okay, on the other hand, let's just say if price was basically ranging on the right hand side, on the left hand side, sorry, let's say the price was basically ranging, okay, then there's a high probability that you won't see this type of market structure where price basically moved up or down clean. Okay, if price has consolidated before, there's a very high probability that price will consolidate in the same zone or range again. Okay, next point. Depending on the traffic on the left and type of breakout, price will either continue in the direction of the breakout, or price will have to retrace back to the area of the original break to retest the zone broken. Okay, so let's illustrate an example to make more sense of this. All right, so let's say price was basically trending bearish, making lower lows and lower highs until we enter some sort of a consolidation. Okay, all right, so now depending on the break, now let's say if you got the break to the downside, okay, once you get a break to the downside, let's say if you have a clean break and close below the previous candle and the breakout is not too big, okay? Let's just say, let's draw a candle here actually. Let's say the candle came down and closed just like this, right? Breaking and closing below the support level, right over here, without going down too far. So if you get this type of a break and close in a consolidation, this break and close is considered very clean, okay? And let's say previously market had clean moves in this area on the left-hand side, then there's a very high probability that once price gets a break and close below this consolidation, below the support level, we can come down clean as well. So it all depends on what type of market structure you have and what type of a break you have as well. So over here, this is considered a clean break and close. Also a very solid break and close. Why? Because we just broke below support level without going too far. But let's just say if the breakout was too big, let's say if the breakout was like that, now it does not give the probability of the next candle to continue going bearish, at least not too far. So in this situation, what you should be doing is basically waiting for some sort of a break and retest. So let's say next candle basically goes like this, right? This is not a tradable candle. So what do you want to do is wait for price to come up, create some sort of a resistance, retest the area or the zone it broke out of, and you want to see a candle closing in your direction. Now, this will be considered a break and retest trade. Okay, once you see a candle closing in your direction, next candle is going to be your trading candle. All right. Let's talk about the stop loss and take profits and entries. So the entries will be once the candle has closed in your direction, stop loss will be placed above the previous candle, and the next area of rejection will be your take profit. All right. So let's mark this up. Stop loss will be right on top. All right. This is going to be her entry. And your take profit is going to be right over here. Okay. So this is a typical example of a break and retest. Now, the reason why we entered on this candle right over here is because of the original break. The original break here is too big. So what you want to see is a possible retrace up to the area where price broke out of, which is basically, I have explained right over here, an area of the original break to retest the zone broken. So the zone that is broken is right over here. We broke below that zone, the breakout was too big. So what you want to do is wait for price to come up, create resistance, and the next candle is going to be a trading candle, and you can still have a profitable trade. So originally, price did not give you a clean break and close below here. The breakout was too big, so unfortunately, you're not going to be able to trade on the next candle. So what do you want to wait for is basically price to come up, create resistance, and the next candle goes down, which is your tradable candle. All right. And usually after the break and retest, it is the best opportunity to basically enter, you know? All right. Last point, several trading opportunities will be available when it comes to a breakout setup. All right. So let's talk about breakout trade setups. So what you can have is possibly a breakout itself, okay? Just a clean break and close, and you can enter on the next candle. Or if you cannot get a clean break and close, then you can possibly wait for a break and retest. Wait for price to come down in a bearish trend. Wait for it to create a low, come up, create resistance, candle closing in your direction, and you can basically enter on the next candle. All right. If you're, however, trading a bullish market structure where price is making higher highs, higher lows, okay, enter in some sort of a consolidation, okay. What do you want to wait for is price to break above. If the breakout is too big, like this, what do you want to do is wait for price to come down, create some sort of a support. Once the candle closing in your direction, you can enter on the next candle. All right, so that's going to be considered a break and retest. All right, just like that. This is going to be your trading candle. Okay, so that's going to be the break and retest in an uptrend. Number 3 will be impulsive entries. So impulsive entries, we're going to talk about it in an example on the next page over here. Okay, and what else you can have? You can have a possible containment candles as well as liquidity containment candles as well in breakouts. So you get tons of setups when it comes to breakout trade setups. So always look out for certain things and see which one suits you better, either the breakout itself, break and retest, impulsive entries, or possibly a containment candle or liquidity containment candle. All right. So without further ado, let's get started with our example over here. So this is taken from TradingView. The chart is gold, and the time frame you're looking at over here is basically a 5-minute time frame. Okay, so in this example, what you can see is that initially we were trending bullish on the left hand side. Okay, we were trending bullish, and then basically we created a high, right? And after a series of consolidation, we retested the high right over here. Okay, after the retest of the high, we had a break, we had a false breakout, and basically we started ranging after that. So the range basically continued for a few hours over here, right? If this is a 5-minute time frame, so this is each candle represents 5 minutes duration. So you're looking at least an hour plus of time here, I guess. Okay, so trend is bullish. We enter into a consolidation, and what you end up seeing is a breaking close below, right over here. So now looking at the breaking close below, doesn't it look like it is too big of a breakout, right? Also, once the candle broke and closed below the consolidation, right? Looking at the supports on the left-hand side as well, there is very small wick to the downside. So, you know, in this type of situation, you might want to wait for a break and retest, but depending on the volume in the market, we could actually continue going down, right? One thing to look in this type of situation is the type of traffic you have on the left, plus the rejections on the left as well. So 2 things you got to keep in check, right? Number 1 is going to be your traffic. Number 2 is going to be rejections. So always look for these things on the left. Okay, so let's say the traffic is clean, so we're good to go, right? So we're going to check mark that. Traffic is good to go. Looking at the rejections, we do have rejections on the left hand side. All right, so let me just show you the rejections here. So rejections are basically right over here. So what you want to see is breaking below this rejections. So now looking at the breaking close now, looks like a clean breaking close. So what ended up happening is that we have a breaking close below this support level at a certain price point, and we have a breaking close below the rejection wicks as well. Okay, now this makes it a very clean breaking close. And if you have clean traffic coming down as well, plus there's a lot of volume in the market, then price can basically continue going bearish. All right, so always certain things you got to look into. Checking the rejection wicks to the left, checking basically the traffic on the left, checking what type of session you're in right now, either is a high volume session or a low volume session. Especially if you're trading New York session, then you're going to be able to find a lot of volume, a lot of momentum in the market. So you're going to be able to see more of a continuation than a break and retest. Okay, so something to look out for. All right, so with this, I'm going to conclude this video. Hopefully you enjoyed breakouts, and hopefully that makes more sense. Hopefully you took notes. So if you did take notes, that's amazing. Make sure you review your notes and start practicing this type of setups in the market so you can get more basically confidence to execute on this type of trades later on, as well as build transparency, as well as taking your profitability to the next level. And I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you in the next video.